I'll bet that you're in the middle of some conflict or dispute with somebody right now. Everybody at any given time is sort of fighting with somebody all the time. Might be a neighbor, might be a friend, might be a coworker, might be a spouse, might be a business dispute. You are fighting with somebody right now. Is that correct? And when you're in a conflict, you're always looking at, how do I fix this? How do I get out of this? Look, you don't want to be in the middle of a fight at any given time. It drains your attention. It drains your focus. It makes you tired. It's just annoying, right? You just want to get it over with. Or have some advice on what to do next. Conflict and dispute is a part of life, but you don't want to stay in it too long, and you want to finish it. And there's different strategies. You can be diplomatic, you can be hardcore, you can be harsh, you can be accommodating, you can compromise. There's a lot of ways to go about it. It depends on the nature of the conflict. It also depends upon the person you're in conflict with. Do you want to have a relationship with the person afterwards, or is it a one-time thing like a business deal? Having some backup, having some resources that'll help you with conflict can come in handy. It's like having, somebody that has your back. Sure, you have friends, relatives, or coworkers that can maybe give you some advice, but are these people experts in conflict resolution? And are they giving you the support that you need in the same way somebody who is a unbiased third party might? Many times you may not want to reveal all the details of a conflict to somebody close to you because maybe it's embarrassing, right? Maybe it's frustrating and you want to maintain your position with that person. So conflict coaching or conflict therapy can be helpful because it'll help first give you somebody to vent to. You can tell your story, tell what's going on. Sometimes that venting and that outlet of your story can help. The other thing is a person can see things from a different perspective. It's like that cliche, forest through the trees, right? The person's not in the middle of it. Plus, a conflict coach, conflict therapist can help see it from a place of non-attachment. So that person is not going to be emotionally involved with your issue like you would, and that clouds your judgment in many times, and it makes it harder, frustrating to get through it. Many times the person you're in conflict with uses that to their advantage. They manipulate you by using your own emotions against you. It may be a friend that knows about you and pushes your buttons. It may be a spouse. It may be a coworker that knows maybe some leverage on you, right? If it's a business dispute, contract, lawsuit, divorce, employment dispute, that the stakes are even higher. You're talking about a lot of money. So you may want to get legal advice if it's a lawsuit, but you may also want some more personal resource, somebody that has your back to help you through the personal side of it. Look, the lawyer can help with the logistics, the strategy of the court case, but you want somebody that can give you some over your shoulder perspective on what to do, and even some strategy. Many times lawyers are good at the in-court procedural administrative things, but the strategy of what to say next, what to do next, sometimes is not their strong suit. Part of dealing with a conflict is making difficult decisions on how to proceed. Do you want to just draw a line in the sand and say, look, you need to do this, right? Sometimes it's good to back somebody into a corner to flush them out for what they're thinking. Sometimes it's better to be diplomatic and let them reveal things. There's excellent techniques in resolving conflict that are available, especially if you're experienced and excellent at conflict resolution. Many times a conflict doesn't have as much dispute as what you might think. Usually, even in a lawsuit, the places where two people are not in agreement are actually smaller than what you might think. Sometimes the disagreements are already really more aligned than you think. But there's pride, there's spite, there's stubbornness, resentment that is making one or both parties not want to show that agreement because they just want to prove a point. They want to have their day in court. They want to be heard. So use conflict therapy to your benefit to have an expert tell you about your case and point out the weaknesses too. They might be able to tell you, look, you're barking up the wrong tree with this. You think this is going to happen, this is wrong. If you can excise out and remove the things about your position, about your conflict, about your dispute that are really just you being stubborn, maybe you can get over that internally and then move on to conquer the conflict with the other person on the things that are winnable. Our approach to conflict therapy and conflict coaching is to be very direct, very upfront with the client, having empathy and let you be heard, and be kind to your position and be understanding that it's creating a hardship. You're dealing with a lot with this conflict. It might be money, it might be friendship, it might be relationship. Dealing with that, you don't want to have that all on your shoulders. You want somebody else to listen to you and to be have empathy for that. But on the same time, you want somebody who's very direct and tell you should do this. Here's what you might want to do. You don't have to do any of it. There's no requirement that you do any of this, but at least it gives you a very strong, conquering, harsh point of view that you can take to the battle. Somebody that has your back and you can take back to that conflict to win, or to take some clever diplomatic navigating, take that back to the conflict. You'll have the tools that you can use with your attorney, with the other party, with the person you're arguing with. It might just be a neighbor arguing about the fence between the yards. It might be a family turmoil, and you want to handle that differently because you might have to deal with these family members in the future. So there's different tools in your toolbox. There's harsh conquering, there's diplomatic accommodations, there's clever positioning, there's all kind of negotiating tools that you can use at your discretion with every kind of conflict. We've seen them all. We've seen thousands of conflicts and disputes over the years, and we want to give you the support, the place to vent, the place to have space to talk about your case and your scenario, but also the tools to go back into battle to get the results that you want, so you're not manipulated, browbeat, or misused by the other party, and to call them out when they're saying something that's not true, and to recognize the patterns of conflict battle that they're using, because most people who are not experts at conflict do the wrong things, and you can recognize that, and you can maybe see things that look like strength but are actually weaknesses, and we can identify the places where the other party is actually afraid, and you can use that fear as you like. If you want to use it as your advantage to leverage it and manipulate it, great. If you want to use it for a place to say, look, I understand your fear, you can be as accommodating or as ruthless as you want, but at least you can recognize it. Go to our website, conflicttherapist.com. You can book a consultation with a certified mediator and a licensed investigator that will give you a lot of insight about your case. Remember, we're not attorneys, we're not, medical counselors, but we can help you with the very specific personal process of dealing with any type of conflict or dispute, from the very small, over your cousin borrowed $5 from you and you don't know how to handle it, to $1 million lawsuit over a failed business deal, to help you with your other resources that might help get you great results.